Hello everyone and welcome to P1 Broadcasting, where the past, the present, and the future of open wheel racing collide on Monday night. It's Murph, it's Collins, and it's the Indy Open top split. Collins, we've got the present and we're here at the fabled, storied Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy Open top split. Qualifying underway, Jacob. We've got some of the usual suspects. We've got some new faces here tonight. Who do you like, and what do you like to happen here?
Well, it's hard not to like Phil Kraus. He's in the field tonight. You know, that black belt license, that goes a long way, especially in terms of the intimidation factor on your opponents. But, you know, we've got last season's champion Rashad Craig in the field. You got Will Weiser in the field, Nadi Emmel, Logan Edwards. Honestly, the top, dozen to even the dozen and a half we've got here tonight, anybody's got a shot at it come the end of the night.
You know, they most certainly do. This road course has been around for a while, Jacob. 1998 they announced it. 2000 they built it. Originally for Formula One. I went to every single United States Grand Prix held at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it was a sight to behold. Although it was really weird the first time we sat trackside in what was oval turn 1 and watched the Formula One cars go the wrong way. They still go the wrong way on the road course, although the track has changed a little bit. They no longer use the full north end of the speedway in terms of the road course. Used to be that there was a kind of 180-degree horseshoe turn number 6. They bypassed that now with a chicane for the Indy cars. And then instead of using the full turn 13, which, Jacob, I gotta say is, I wish they would bring that back. But instead of using the entire turn 13, they do have the switchback that goes through the infield and uses the motorcycle track. I so very wish that they would bring back the full turn 13. That was one of the most awesome corners in all of road racing, if you ask me. The rest of the track is a road course. It can be very Roval-ish, but that corner was fearsome in a Formula One car.
Well, I think the biggest issue they had with that was tire failures. I think a lot of people still kind of have that. I think it was it 05 or 06 where they had 6 cars start that race due to the Michelin tire failures. So I'm sure there's a good reason that they've opted to remove that corner in future iterations of the track, but it's definitely iconic to see any car going full tilt through any of these corners here on what would be the oval at Indianapolis, regardless of the direction.
Indeed, the lap record for Formula One, 1:10.223. Of course, we're using some shortcuts, and we're not using the full course. This track, or this iteration of it, is 0.2 of a mile shorter than the Formula One course. The lap record here, 1:07.044, set by Will Power in 2017. We're not going to be close to that today, are we, Jacob?
Doesn't look like it with Kraus's provisional pole time.
It does not. We're going to go ahead and get the qualification times up on the screen. And as you can see, Phil Kraus holds that provisional pole, 1:09.714. Rashad Craig, Nadi Emmel, Will Weiser, and Logan Edwards will round out your top 5. Talk to me about tires and fuel here, Jacob. This is kind of an odd race and an odd distance, and it wears the tires, well, for lack of a better term, oddly.
Well, yeah, you've got a very, very right turn heavy road course here, which is, I guess, pretty typical for IndyCar, but it's also very, very flat. So there's not a ton of elevation change to kind of get you to get a ton of roll speed. It's a lot of slow speed corners that kind of pile up next to each other around this course here. So I'd expect to see a good bit of alternate running. We may see a number of cars opt to start on that tire, try to stretch their legs and save the blacks for later, but you could also see that go the other way, just depending on where they feel like that they're going to gain the most time early on in the running.
I can tell you what else, Jacob, that could go the other way is the weather. Right now, track conditions are ideal. 67 in the air, 73 on the track. Wind is out of the northwest at 11, so that's blowing across turn number 4. But there is some intelligence in the in the chat that says we might get wet tonight. Talk to us about what that's going to do.
Well, looking at the radar, we're on a very, very low % chance, at least at the moment. It looks like in about 8 minutes sim time, we're supposed to get about a 3%er here, and it's going to get up to as high as 17% about a half hour into the session. So we'll see if that comes to bear and where it's coming from. It's likely going to matter where on this track it hits, right? A lot of those higher speed corners might be a bit trickier to slow down for compared to the slower speed ones through that wet condition, and you may see guys having a bit of a struggle should the clouds open up.
Indeed. We have concluded qualifications here at Indianapolis, and we are ready to set the grid here for the Indy Open Series. Top split in Indianapolis, 3450. The strength of field here tonight. On the pole, I'm shocked, Jacob. I am shocked to find Phil Kraus on the pole, lap 109.714. Rashad Craig, the defending series champion, will start to his outside. Nadi Immel, Will Weiser make up row 2. Logan Edwards, Caleb Brashear, the Luke Mansky Esports cars, they're going to roll 5th and 6th. Seb Alexander in the second Indy Alliance car, he'll go from 7th, alongside Ty Keela in the Rogue Racing entry from 8th. Thomas Van Kirk and J.W. Miller, they're going to round out the top 10 in row number 5. Row number 6, it's going to be Facundo Manchin. He's going to start alongside Gail Rohrberg. Glenn Cate and Robin Glakis will make up row 7. Jason Urban, Tyler Langenberg, row 8. 17th and 18, Eric Finson and Alberto Lobo. Langenberg, Finson, and Lobo did not set a time, Jacob.
And you know what? How treacherous this track can be. We saw in the Pro Series, I think Phil Kraus got involved with an incident before the green even came out, coming off that final corner to the front stretch. So it's a treacherous place around here, even before the cars get moving at full speed.
You know, it can be. It most certainly can be. I do want to note, as we look from the flag stand toward the grid here, and you can see the flags blowing straight down that front straightaway. That's going to make the car pretty sticky going into turn number 1, Jacob. But something I learned on a recent trip to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, there is a reason for that flag stand design you see on your right. Do you know what it is?
That I don't.
So if you look at the flag stand it is, and you can kind of see it right there, it is shaped kind of like a battleship. I'll go ahead and get I was in a race just a few minutes ago, and I did not turn my voice chat off. So we'll break the third wall very briefly to get that taken care of. But it's shaped like a battleship, Jacob. And the reason it's shaped like a battleship is the USS Indianapolis, a very famous shipwreck. And so I bet you didn't know that.
That I didn't.
See? Never know what you're gonna learn when you get in a broadcast with Murph, huh?
Well, I never know what I'm gonna learn any day of the week. That's the fun part of life, Mark.
Here we go. We are getting ready to start we are getting ready to go on this parade lap. It is a long pace lap, isn't it, Jacob?
Well, compared to all pace laps in the iRacing simulation, nothing's going to beat the pace lap at Road America. But this is a fairly substantial one around this two and almost a half-mile course.
You know, it most certainly is. And not only that, it can be kind of tricky, especially when they get up here to the chicane. It can be kind of tricky to file through there too wide. So you got to be careful and on your toes just to make sure you don't run into the guy next to you. Same thing applies when they get to the south end of the speedway going through the motorcycle course.
I'm still going to put nothing's worse than Portland Turn 1 in terms of... I guess you maybe don't have to pace through that now, do you? I think they start you on the backstretch there. But that would be pretty atrocious to have to do a rolling start through. They
do start you on the backstretch. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. We do have a wonderful crowd here this evening. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. We know times are tough, but if you'd like, make sure you hit that link for the GoFundMe at the top of the page. Any contributions to the Jacob and Murph Need New Computers Fund is appreciated. As we get ready to go green here at Indianapolis, Phil Kraus leads them around behind the Porsche 911. This is an interesting part of the track. For me, this is the worst part of the track to get right here, Jacob, especially that corner right there.
Yeah, that right-hander, you kind of want to dip the tires a little over the curb, but you can't dip too much or you start sliding more than you really want, and then you're heading very quickly towards that outside side grass, so definitely a tough spot.
Yeah, it's 8, 9, and 10. Turn number 11 can be tricky because it's flat out. It is a right-hander, and you're coming back on the banking. The car can get very upset through there, depending on how you attack it. It's very easy to get the thing spun out. This part, you got to watch the curbs here, Jacob. Turn number 12. Those curbs on the inside are brutal.
Yeah, very tall, harsh drop off when you get off of them too, and that's the bigger thing. The car bouncing off of them as we're getting these cars ready to head down this front stretch here at Indianapolis.
We are indeed. Phil Kraus is already all over the loud pedal. Barney's got the green flag in the air.
Green flag.
We are underway here for 37 laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and already they stream down toward turn number 1 as Rashad Craig. Oh, big trouble. The Luke Mansky cars come together. We're going to go.
Looked very bizarre.
That did look very bizarre. We're going to continue to stay with the first lap, and then we're going to see what has befallen Will Weiser here. That was Weiser. Brashear and Edwards continue on, but we will definitely check that action out. Meatball for Will Weiser, and there was another car in the Red Bull livery. That would be Nadi Immel that is already off. We've got cars going wide. The front 5 have really broken away, and the jam car is Facundo Mation in 6th.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if Nadi had some sort of hardware failure or something, because it looks like he just shot right in front of Rashad, and Rashad had nowhere to go and just launched straight into the air going into turn 1.
We're going to get back and see exactly what befell Nadi Immel at the start of this race. There he is. He's starting in 3rd spot. He's behind Rashad Craig. And that's Will Weiser pulling out behind him. That's awfully tough. Nadi Immel does try to drive it back around. We'll get another angle here on it, Jacob. Don't know if that's a hardware failure or if it was just misjudging the braking distances. Either way, a wild ride for Will Weiser as well as Nadi Immel. Both of them more or less out of contention here. There's Rashad Craig. He's being chased by the remainder of the Luke Mansky Racing Esports cars. That's Caleb Brashear 3rd, Logan Edwards 4th, Seb Alexander 5th, and they are chasing this man, Phil Kraus. PK has already staked himself to a 2.2 second lead here in the opening laps, Jacob.
Yeah, he kind of sailed away through the chaos, and admittedly, I was looking at the wrong cars in my replay, so I didn't realize we had Luke Mansky cars flying through the air instead of Rashad's machine. Glad to see Rashad still out there clicking away.
He most certainly is. Do want to thank Joe for joining in. Ryan Cass, Anna the Deer, Luke Mansky Racing Esports is here. Even Clindy tuned in the broadcast. Jacob, he's the one that has reported there could be rain incoming. Now, you're the man on the radar, Jacob. You're going to have to tell us if rain happens here. If rain happens here and when it could be expected. You said that it's not due for about half an hour into the session, so we might be close to done with the race if it happens at all.
Well, it appears the weather chance has increased because in about 2 minutes we're getting a 10% chance, and then 15 minutes after that it's up to a race high of 19 as far as we're aware. So we'll see. There's a chance.
There is a chance. Speaking of chances, it's gonna take a lot of chance to catch this man, Phil Kraus. He has pulled away now to a 3.1 second lead over Rashad Craig. Rashad Craig is leading the train in the Indy Alliance machine, trying to chase down the power slide car of Phil Kraus. There's Rashad Craig in 2nd spot, and he's got the Luke Mansky Racing Esports cars of Caleb Brashear, Logan Edwards behind him. And then right in the picture there, the black bronze and orange machine of Seb Alexander. That's the second Indy Alliance car. And they've got a 4-second advantage from there back to the rogue entry of Ty Keela. He's got a rearview mirror full of Facundo Machen and Thomas Van Kirk. You've got Gail Rohrberg back there as well as Tyler Langenberg. And that rounds out your top 10, Jacob.
And shout out to Langenberg. He's already up 6 spots. Now, I'm sure the start of this race kind of helped a little bit for that, but that's not an unimpressive feat given how deep he was in this field to start.
It's not. And the other thing is, this track, although it does have that long straightaway, it can be pretty hard to pass here, in my opinion at least. You've really only got a couple of true passing zones, one at the end of the front straight into turn 1, and then the second one at the end of the Holman straight on the backstretch going into turn 7. It can be hard to get around somebody here, Jacob.
Yeah, and that's particularly a harder point with these Indy cars too, right? Is you're dealing with a very wide vehicle relative to some of the other machinery we see maybe in like an Indy Next or a USF or USF Pro 2000 series where the cars are a bit narrower and you can fit them closer together. Here we've got pretty wide formula cars that make it very difficult to get alongside of each other, as we see a couple cars up near the front of this battle near Langenberg kind of getting alongside of each other. We might see some people get a little argy-bargy heading down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, that's Gail Rohrberg, Thomas Van Kirk, Facundo Machen there, and they are all right together. The blue car would be Van Kirk. The middle car is Gail Rohrberg, and then Tyler Langenberg looking to the inside. Here he comes. He's going to shoot it down the inside of the Marcus Ericsson liveried machine. Rohrberg with the switchback as they head for turn numbers 8, 9, and 10. Langenberg is going to have the spot, and that's going to allow J.W. Miller to have a chance here. He's going to try to get to the inside through turn number 11. Doesn't quite get there.
Yeah, we saw Langenberg very, very late on the brakes at the end of the straightaway there, and it's very easy to do that and just slide all the way to the outside part of that track and hit the grass just a little bit. You know, we've already seen a couple tire marks come through there, so clearly that's been a bit of a struggle already tonight. But that corner basically turns into a flat wall in terms of the tarmac, so it's very difficult to get through there, especially when you're alongside other cars.
You know, it most certainly is. We'll keep an eye on Langenberg. Big dive under the brakes that time as well. He got right to the back of Facundo Machen. Thomas Van Kirk has gone through Facundo, and now we'll see if Langenberg can get through as well. The front cars have very much stabilized. Phil Kraus has checked out and is marching away. Rashad Craig has a little bit of a gap over the Luke Mansky cars of Logan Edwards and Caleb Brashear. And then they've got about a second and a half over the Indy Alliance machine of Seb Alexander. It's worth noting here, Jacob, that very few cars, only 2 in the field, Glenn Cate and Jason Urban, decided to start on the red tires.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that's just because they feel like the tire fall off here is a bit too much. It's admittedly been a while since I've been on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in an IndyCar. I'd imagine this probably falls in a similar category that we see, say, like a Road America, where due to just how heavy some of these braking zones are, particularly at the end of both long straights here, that's going to kind of eat the tire up a lot more than you'll see at a number of other tracks that we may visit.
Most certainly so. Watch Tyler Langenberg right here. He's going to try to make the dive on Machen, and he does. Move Langenberg up one more spot. He's going to go after 8th. Set his sights on Thomas Van Kirk. It's worth noting he's getting that done, Jacob, without using a lot of push to pass. 170 seconds still in the tank. 182 for Phil Kraus, 187 for Rashad Craig. Logan Edwards on 169. And so Langenberg's getting it done, and he is not using a whole awful lot of that push to pass, is he?
Well, I think that's the thing here too, right? Is you've got really long straightaways, so that push to pass really only comes into so much handy before the draft kind of takes over for you in a number of cases. So he might just be kind of banking that stuff up and waiting until he maybe hits a couple cars that he's finding a bit more troublesome to get around, so he can bank it trying to battle him late in the race.
He might. Tyler Langenberg, worth the price of admission, started 16th. He's up to 8th. He's passed nearly half the field right here. Do want to let everybody know that Nadi Immel has retired his machine. Will Weiser is in the session, but still on pit lane under repair. We get lap number 9 of 37, and when do we think these cars are going to have to pit here, Jacob?
Well, I'd like to think that it'll be a little around the halfway mark. So you got to suspect maybe lap 20 or so would be my guess. You know, we've got a 37 lapper here tonight, so I think that the maybe the call for the blacks was get to around lap 20 and change, and then come in and switch over to the reds and run the rest of the distance out.
My guess is, though, Jacob, you'd want to go as long as you can on these primary tires, just because of the threat of rain. You don't want to have to make an extra pit stop, no?
No, definitely not. And I think that a lot of drivers are probably keeping that in the back of their heads, especially as it starts to get closer. We'll take another look here. It looks like 10 minutes time, it's up to a 50% chance that we're going to get something.
10 minutes.
That'll put us right around the pit window.
Yeah, that would be right. I was about to say minute 12 a lap for everybody other than Phil Kraus, who just turned in a 1:11.722. The rest of the top 5 are all in the 1:12s. Ty Keela just dropped into the 12s as well. Van Kirk and Langenberg on back minute 13s throughout the rest of the field. Langenberg looking to the inside of Thomas Van Kirk. This is the battle for 7th and 8th. We don't want to take anything away from PK. Phil Kraus up at the front of this deal is leading away in the Power Slide Motorsports entry, and there's the famous paint job from the King of Chins right there. He doesn't have it on the rear wing anymore, and I wonder if they took if iRacing took those away. But you used to see these guys with the butt kicker emblems on the rear wings, denoting the pro drivers. Phil Kraus finished second in that series, did he?
Right behind, I believe, Diogo Pinto. I think he won that one, or was it Eduardo Leo, one of the red line guys?
Yeah, it was one of the red line guys. So when you look at Phil Kraus, you are looking at not just one of the very best in this car. You're looking at one of the very best drivers in the entire service. Phil Kraus, and we had a chance to hang out with him in Chicago at the Sim Gaming Expo. He's a pretty fun guy to boot. But there he goes, 7.7 seconds ahead of this man. That's Rashad Craig, and we'll do the same thing. That's the defending series champion, the Indy Alliance Racing entry for Rashad Craig, the familiar black over green and silver for Rashad. Started second, and he has stayed there, Jacob. And so fine run for Rashad Craig. In third spot, you've got Logan Edwards, the Luke Mansky Racing Esports machine, the purple roll hoop and the purple, halo arrow screen, however you want to term it. Diego Pinto, Anna the Deer, has corrected us. The purple mirrors, purple halo, purple anti-flight device spine going down the back of that Dallara. He is third. Caleb Brashear has the blue trim on his Luke Mansky machine. He is fourth. And blinking a little bit. Seb Alexander started seventh. He is currently fifth. Black over bronze and orange for the Indy Alliance campaigner. There's Seb Alexander. Ty Keela's Rogue Racing entry is sixth. And do want to point out, Tyler Langenberg has made it through Thomas Van Kirk. Langenberg now up 9 spots. That's easily going to be the LGN driver of the day, don't you think, Jacob?
Well, Mark, we're not even halfway through this race yet.
Pretty compelling stuff. You make up 9 spots at the Indy Road Course, you're doing something right. Thomas Van Kirk is 8th. He started 9th, and there's Van Kirk. The office, Dunder Mifflin, adorning the side pods of that Dallara. That gave me a chuckle, Jacob. Gail Rohrberg in the Marcus Ericsson livery is 9th, and then Facundo Machen is 10th for Urbana Sim Racing, and there he is. He runs along. Glenn Cate, kind of a retro Tony Kanaan 711 scheme adorning the number 17 machine. Glenn Cate was the last car in, Jacob, number 17. He's doing pretty solid, running 11th in that car.
He's making his money's worth.
He most certainly is. He's one of the 2 cars that is on the red alternate tires. Dan Gurney, the Dan Gurney Eagle for J.W. Miller, runs 12th. There's J.W., 13th Alberto Lobo. 14th is Robin Glakis. There's Uncle Rob, a regular campaigner in the top splits. Started 14th, and there he remains. But always here, always putting on a good show, always doing a good job. That's Robin Glakis. Jason Urban in the number 18. So I take that back. Glenn Kate was not the last one in. Jason Urban was. Kate and Urban, the last 2 cars in, and they are on the red alternate tires. Will Weiser and Nadi Immel are out of the event, and that's going to bring us, Jacob, right back to the front of the field with Phil Kraus. Phil is letting him have it, Jacob.
Well, you know, I think he's picking them up and putting them down while he can here.
He most certainly is, but the specter of rain has to be looming. Also looming is a battle for second. Logan Edwards, the old narc brain, has caught the back of Rashad Craig. What was once a second is now a half a second, and so we'll jump on board Logan Edwards here from the left front suspension. I don't see any raindrops, but it's starting to look awfully dark, Jacob.
Yeah, it looks like we've still got about 5 minutes before we get to the magical clouds opening up, supposedly. I mean, we still have yet to see it on the in-sim radar here, trying to find where that's going to come from and where it's going to hit the track first. But I think we might be in a case of when, not if.
You know, every year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the 500, everybody's an amateur meteorologist. Jacob, I don't think I've ever known an amateur simulated meteorologist, but there you go. You can be the first. You can blaze the trail, brother.
Looks like it's gonna hit the front straightaway. It's coming from the what I believe would be the west. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. If you live in Indiana, you would know that all weather from Indianapolis travels from the west. That is the reason for the famous quip, "There's a window over Terre Haute." If you've ever heard that expression, when it rains at the speedway, there's people tend to look back toward Terre Haute, which is 90 miles up the road due west. And so if it's raining in Terre Haute, you can expect that it will soon rain in Indianapolis. If it's dry in Terre Haute, you can assume that it will be dry in Indy. Although I can remember the last rain shortened event, Jacob, they were calling out the rain as we ride on board with Logan Edwards. They were calling out the rain as it approached by the streets, is how accurate it had gotten.
Well, you've got to imagine with the city kind of on watch for that event that everybody's watching either out their windows or something to see if there's going to be any inclement weather.
Oh, very much so. But it was pretty wild. Hearing them talk. It's raining in Brownsburg. Okay, it's raining at the Reagan Parkway. It's raining at CVS in Claremont, and then so on down the road. It's raining at 465, and then when we heard on the radio, it's raining at Lyndhurst. The action began to pick up. North Lyndhurst Avenue is only about 10 blocks from the speedway, and so when we heard it's raining on Lyndhurst, you saw the action on the track pick way up. And that was one of the wildest things I've ever seen. We watched from the back of the grandstand the rainstorm march westward through Indianapolis until it got to us.
You know, that's got to be a bit of an intimidation factor to some extent if you can somehow hear the intercom while in the driver's seat.
Well, that's what I mean. We were listening to the scanner, still watching Logan Edwards as he is closed on the back of second place, Rashad Craig. Rashad is not one to get easily rattled, though, is he, Jacob?
No, he's very much one to stay cool, calm, and collected under pressure. That's kind of been his MO since probably his breakthrough into the series would be my suspicion.
You know, Rashad is a very laconic driver, and I use that word deliberately. He has a great perspective on things. It's very difficult to get him upset. He is very rarely any more than even keeled in the race car. Now, outside of the car, he is a hoot. But inside the car, Jacob, and I can say that because he's one of my teammates, of course. But Rashad in the car, you don't see him very much from dead center. Do want to point out that Caleb Brashear has broken away from Seb Alexander. There's Brashear in the second Luke Mansky Racing Esports car. He has broken away now nearly 4 seconds from Seb Alexander, and I gotta wonder, Jacob, if Seb is saving fuel here. We're gonna get on board with him. Just to see what Alexander's doing. Let's listen. And if I'm not mistaken, I just saw a raindrop come across my screen.
Yeah, we're just about getting to it.
It has not switched to a rain session yet. Still overcast. Now, what happens in iRacing when a wet session is declared, Jacob?
I believe at that point you just have to change tires. I want to say that essentially negates the tire change rule. I think that's how they're accounting for it. Is they haven't opted to start any of these races under the wet. So I think that's the only time it gets outright declared as a wet session. Otherwise, they're just looking for you to change tire compounds is how they're accounting for it, I believe.
Which you would have to do anyway. Go from the black primary to the red alternate tires. You're going to have to do that anyway. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in to the P1 Broadcasting Network tonight. You've got Murph, you've got Collins, and you've got what is the past, the present, and the future of open wheel racing. It happens every night here on P1. Right now, it's the Indy Open Top Split. After this, we will immediately transition to the Onyx Racing League, and where they're running Lotus 79s over there, Jacob. And where are the 79s this evening?
I believe it's New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the oval.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the oval. A fine road course there, too, by the way. But New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the oval, that's going to happen at 9:05. So we will transition the channel to that broadcast once we are done in Indianapolis. And then, Jacob, you've got the Indy Next Series immediately following that. And where is that tonight?
It'll be our first trip to Europe for that series. We're taking on the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium.
Now that's going to be pretty awesome. We do have a car on pit lane. That's Glenn Cate has come in and changed off of his alternate tires and put on the primaries. Jason Urban is the alone remaining runner on the alts, and so do want to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Rashad Craig has put the whip to the number 3, and he's pulled back out to nearly a second over the Luke Mansky Racing Esports car of Logan Edwards. And Rashad Craig has got some problems in front of him. That's lap traffic, Jacob.
That it is. I believe that's the car of Jason Urban ahead of Rashad Craig there. Rashad will look to the inside here. Jason not going to give these guys any trouble.
No, he moved way out of the way, all the way up to the banking in turn number 2 to give Rashad and Logan a chance to go through, but that has closed the gap, Jacob. Logan Edwards now immediately to the rear wing of Rashad Craig.
That's the thing, though. Here we see it kind of expand back out once the corners open up, and that's the trade-off here, right? Is you've got these fairly sizable straightaways with a lot of really tight corners next to each other, which makes the passing opportunity windows very, very tight to try to get yourself alongside of another car.
Yes, indeed. Great camera work here. Do want to thank Whiplash SimCams for the shots as usual. If you'd like to see their work, iRacing photographer or broadcaster, check out Whiplash SimCams. Logan Edwards is trying, Jacob. He just can't quite get close enough to load that pass up, can he?
No, and that's something that even in lower horsepower cars, you'll kind of struggle with. I distinctly remember coming here this year in the USF 2000 series, battling with Carl Cube for the win of that race, and you basically had to find the part where you were fastest on the track and just kind of get up alongside and go side by side and battle it out through a couple corners to make your move. I opted to make mine going into turn one, and unfortunately Carl got loose on my inside and spun with about 2 laps to go in that one. But that's just the name of the game here. You've got these long straightaways. You got to kind of take your opportunity to get alongside. As we see Edwards look to the inside here into one.
Now Rashad Craig is going to move over. He's going to let that move go. Rashad Craig, very much a championship driver, and you just saw why. No need to fight Logan Edwards there. It's a long race. You can try to get him on the back end, but you can't do anything with your car on the back of the hook, right, Jacob?
No.
So great move from Logan Edwards. Jason Brophy has checked in. He'd like to remind everybody that he did beat Phil Kraus in the Indy Pro Series at this racetrack. If I remember correctly, Jacob, didn't Phil crash before the green light in that race?
Yeah, I believe it was coming to green on the front stretch. Like a bunch of cars got either squirrely or banged it into the wall coming down the front stretch, and I think Phil got rear-ended in one of those situations.
Indeed. I thought my memory was not faulty there. Jason Brophy, a great driver in his own right. You'll see him most likely tomorrow night in the Indy Oval Fixed Top Split. Jason Brophy, my guess is he'll be there. Where are they at?
Texas. We're getting a double back-to-back weeks of Texas between open and fixed.
Open, fixed, and then the next cars in the Oval Series are there as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So you'll most likely see Jason Brophy in that race tomorrow night at Texas, maybe twice tomorrow night in Texas in his familiar green and black power slide machine. Watching the battle for second, Logan Edwards watching the battle for the lead. We missed the fact that Phil Kraus came in, took his red alternate tires, and so that has dropped Phil back to 7th. And there he is, Phil Kraus out onto the racing surface. And let's ride with Phil, because I have a feeling that this lap is going to be fast, Jacob.
Well, fresh reds don't get much better than when they're fresh, so.
Now, it's going to take him, about a lap to get this thing up to, it's going to take him about a lap to get up to temperature here, right? This will be his out lap, and then the next one's going to be the heater.
More than likely. Seems to take about 1 lap for those reds to really come in too, as a lot of drivers have kind of noted that red tire is a bit harder to get up to temperature since the car update than the black tire, at least comparatively.
Here we go, down into turn number 1, and here comes what should theoretically be the fastest lap of the race. 180 miles an hour as Phil Kraus breaks down into turn 1. He clobbers the curb on the right. Some of those you can do that. Especially these curves in the old Formula One part of the track, they're more or less flat. They are not sausage curves. This one, though, you got to be really careful with that one at turn 6, because you can launch one of these Indy cars right there.
I'd say you're almost always better off trying to only really ride the ones that look flat when you get to them.
And they're not really flat. If you go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, those curbs do have some rise and some angle to them. They're just not nearly as severe as the sausage curves. On board Phil Kraus for what provisionally should be the fast lap of the race. Do want to point out that Rashad Craig is on the pit lane. He is the last to stop at 24 laps. Rashad will be credited with leading 1 lap. And Phil did, yes he did, 1 minute 10:8:49 for Phil Kraus. So there's the purple lap. Phil Kraus going for the trifecta here. Here's the race for second. Rashad Craig is going to come off pit lane, and he should handsomely beat Logan Edwards down into turn 1, and that's a huge advantage for Rashad Craig because he's going to have a lap fresher on the alternate tires, and those alts are not your friend late in a run here, are they?
No, they definitely aren't. And if there's one thing we've kind of noticed, especially going forward with a lot of these tracks, is we've noticed that the black tires tend to hold on a lot better than they did, like compared to a red tire stint, right? The reds have a bit more fall off than maybe they did historically. We've seen a number of tracks maybe flip over from red preferred tracks to black preferred tracks just because that black tire seems to hold on better. But as we see here, Rashad's struggling to get those reds up to temp out of the pit lane. We see Logan Edwards already up to him and making this pass here. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier. It's just, it takes so much time to get the reds in a spot where you want them that one lap might actually be the opposite of what you want here, at least in terms of getting ahead of the cars around you.
Yes, indeed, and it may play to Rashad Craig's advantage later in this run as if the alternates do go off. Do point out that Phil Krause just bettered his purple lap, 1 minute 10.027. He is nearly a second a lap faster than Logan Edwards and Rashad Craig as Rashad Craig fights to get his alternate tires up to temperature. And he's fallen about a second behind Logan Edwards. I would expect this to be a fantastic duel. There aren't very many of those around the racetrack. Matter of fact, Logan Edwards, Rashad Craig, and Caleb Brashear, they are the only 3 cars really in close contact. You got to go back to J.W. Miller in the Dan Gurney Eagle. He is looking out his aero screen at Facundo Machin, and that's about a second between those 2 cars. Everybody else separated by 2 seconds or more, including Phil Krause, up 21 seconds on Logan Edwards and Rashad Craig.
I think this rain's going to get here later than they told us. I think this radar is very inaccurate for the small distance that it opts to cover here, Mark.
Do want to thank everybody for watching the P1 broadcasting presentation of the Indy Open Top Split. You've got Murph, you've got Jacob Collins. I do the announcing and the producing. Jacob monitors the radar and corrects my inaccuracies. And so we want to thank everybody for playing along. Do want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 broadcasting channel. Jacob, we are closing in on yet another milestone. 1,400 subscribers is within reach. 1,378 is the current count. So how about that?
Well, I'd like to think we would imagine we get a couple good quality shows in the rest of this week. We might get to 1,400 before the end of the week.
You know, it's absolutely possible to do it tonight. This is Monday night on P1. It's where the past, present, and future of IndyCar collide. Right now, we are watching the present. That is the Indy Open Top Split, Monday night Top Split. We will immediately go to the Onyx Racing League Lotus 79 race at New Hampshire. They're going to start at 9:05, and we will throw it to them as soon as we're done here in Indianapolis. And then the nightcap, you've got Jacob Collins back running his own show. Thankfully, he'll be without my inaccuracies and smart mouth, and so Jacob will have the Indy Next Road Top Split from Spa at 10:30. Is it, Jacob? 10:30.
I believe it's 10 o'clock on the dot.
10 o'clock on the dot. 10 o'clock on the dot. How's that been going for you? Just in terms of, I was once very new at this. After 100 or so broadcasts, it's not new anymore. What's the thing that has you found the easiest, and what's the thing that you found the most difficult?
I think it's probably both the same thing, in that it's hard to know where to put the camera and when to move it back. Right? We had a great battle for the bottom parts of the podium at Long Beach last week, and I tried to keep the camera on that battle as long as I possibly could. But I wanted to give the guy leading the race, Andre Castro, a bit of camera time we didn't get a ton of him because he was out to a sizable lead for the bulk of the race. And as soon as I moved the camera, the battle for the bottom step of the podium just went haywire, and we missed it. We missed it.
We don't want to do that. We do want to give Phil Krause his due. There's PK, and we'll give Josh Chin's paint job It's loving and due attention. There's Phil Kraus. Purple and black for the power slide. Private label Team Hype entry. There he goes. He is your leader, and PK is absolutely demolishing him, Jacob.
Yeah, he's getting Robin Glakis into his sights, and that's the bottom car in the top 10 of this race. You know, we had 18 starters. That put Phil about halfway through the field and just lapping them.
Yeah, that is that spec up there. That is Robin Glakis. So Uncle Rob in danger of going a lap down here, and it's not too far up the road to J.W. Miller, Facundo Machen. I don't think Thomas Van Kirk is in danger, but Glakis, Miller, and Machen certainly are. Phil Kraus could easily lap everybody up to 6th place here. I have been corrected. Jacob, imagine that I would be corrected. It's a Cosman paint from Splash and Go. And so Jason Brophy has alerted me to the errors of my ways. And you'll see that on the cars of Kraus, Brophy, and Malechka, I believe. Adam Blocker still runs his standard blue and black. Andrew Wood, another prominent member of that stable, you'll see him rock up in a station wagon, which I had to follow at Indianapolis for about 300 miles, Jacob.
Well, it sounds like you had yourself quite an Indy 500 then.
Well, I did. I managed to get past it, but only because it was upside down.
Ooh.
Phil Kraus working in. He's going to go by the 18 of Jason Urban. Urban is going to go 2 laps down, and he's going to let that happen. Do want to flip back here because Logan Edwards and Rashad Craig, this battle is continuing to tighten. Rashad Craig chipping in. Yes, sir?
And Glakis had a bit of a moment right in front of our leader, Phil Kraus, coming towards that chicane.
That is the benefit.
Down the backstretch. Yeah,
that is the benefit of the Wayback Machine. Whoa, Rob, hang on to her, driver. Hang on. Phil's just going to sneak through, but that's more than a moment, Jacob. That's scary when it does that.
That might take a year off somebody's life.
It'd probably take a year off of Phil's life. He had to watch it and pick his way through there. Rashad Craig is now there on Logan Edwards, and so Phil Kraus, he's driven away to a 21-second lead. Give the man his due, but the battle, the action is here for second. It's the Luke Mansky Racing Esports machine of Logan Edwards. He is second, and he's got the Indy Lions car of Rashad Craig right on his backside. I was going to try to switch back left and right, Jacob, and it's just easier to put it on the gearbox. But the green and black is coming there from Rashad Craig. He would like to get back by Logan Edwards and see if he can't score the middle step of the podium here.
Yeah, it's been a slow reel back in for Rashad too, right? We saw Logan kind of when the pit cycle happened. Rashad came out ahead, but then Logan reeled him back in pretty much within the same lap Rashad came out, and now it's been a steady climb from Rashad to try to reel him back in, take that P2 spot.
Most certainly is. Rashad Craig has been faster the last 3 consecutive laps, although it was just 50 thousandths of a second the last time through. Rashad Craig has been inching back into this battle. If you recall, Jacob, he came out as the second place runner ahead of Logan Edwards. Edwards had the tire. He had the temperature in the tires. He got past Rashad Craig, and Rashad Craig now is slowly reeling Edwards back in. Last time through, 111.787 to a 736. This time, Edwards is going to trip the electronic eye clock at a 111.714, 111.937 for Rashad Craig. And so Logan Edwards extends his advantage just a little bit that time through. It's worth noting Phil Kraus, his last lap, 111.565. So just a couple of tenths quicker than the cars behind him. The only other car in the 111s, Caleb Brashear in 4th. Seb Alexander has a hold on 5th. Ty Keela has nobody around him. He's 18 seconds behind Seb Alexander and 6 seconds ahead of Thomas Van Kirk. But there are very few battles around this circuit. The only other one where drivers are close is Robin Glakis and Alberto Lobo, and we saw Uncle Rob have kind of a lurid slide there through turn number 4 a few minutes ago, Jacob. He'd like to have that 10th spot back.
Yeah, he definitely would.
And let's see if he can do it. He's been much quicker than Lobo for most of the day. Matter of fact, 0.7 a second quicker that last time through. And so we'll keep the eyes right here on Alberto Lobo in 10th. Robin Glakis in 11th. The veteran campaigner trying to get back into the top 10. I've also got my eye on the timing stand. If there is a challenge for the 2nd spot, we will cut to that. But give these guys their due. They're back here racing 10th and 11th. They're running hard.
Every position counts at the end of the day.
You know it does, and to finish, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to finish 10th is such it's almost more of a mental fill up than anything else. Hey, I ran in the top 10, right? Rather than doggone it, I finished 11th. Even though it's one position, mentally it's a much bigger barrier. As we watch Robin Glakis, we'll see if he can't get to the inside of Alberto Lobo this time. Now here's the kicker. Woo, and there comes the rain, Jacob.
Yeah, I got here late, but it's here.
It is most certainly here now. How heavy is it, and what impact is it going to have on these drivers? We saw this at Mid-Ohio in the last season where we had rain, and it seemed as though it was fairly heavy rain, Jacob, and it didn't really affect all that much.
This is looking at least lighter based on the radar. We've got kind of a light blue going through about the front half of the speedway. Probably is getting closer to both ends as I speak here, but I don't think this is going to have much of an impact at this point, especially given we've only got a handful of laps to go.
There you go, on board with Logan Edwards as he looks back on Rashad Craig. And it's not raining a lot. It's maybe enough to dampen the surface. Is it enough, you think, to make it tricky under braking?
I'd imagine not. I think that typically requires it to be standing on the track even just a little bit.
We'll see. It is not raining hard, and Olivia Hayward has joined us. We're on board with the Luke Mansky Racing Esports machine of Logan Edwards, previewing the weather. Here's what it looks like from the Power Slide private label team hike machine of Phil Kraus. And you're right, Jacob. I don't think it's really going to affect anything. Ohei thinks maybe it might affect some lap times, but I'm with you and Olivia. I don't think it's going to do much as we watch Phil Kraus in the Power Slide entry power slide the car through turn 11. That was interesting. That's something that we noticed a lot from Phil when we raced with him in person. He works the wheel more than anybody I've ever raced with, Jacob.
Well, that's something that you got to kind of keep in mind too, right? Is you've got all that little bit of micro adjusting every point through the corner, and that can make a huge difference as to where your car ends up, through the corner, on exit, and how you manage kind of the overall slip of the car, because there is a good bit of slide in these things, especially when you start trying to slow them down. You
are absolutely right. Do want to point out that Jason Urban has come in and put on the full wets. Jason, we can tell Phil has zero rear grip. I don't know that even if the track went full wet, I don't know that he would get any more grip by changing onto the wets. That thing looks like it's sliding around pretty good. Watch his hands through here, Jacob.
What do you mean? It's just like a Pato Award on board every time he does the ninja hand thing.
Yes, but Pato Award gets paid a few more million than Phil does.
Well, yeah, but can Pato Award smash a 30 rack into Spotted Cow?
Now that's a great question. I don't I don't know. We'll have to see if we can't get Tony Kanaan on the horn and have Tony set that up. This is the final lap. White flag is in the air for Phil Kraus, and it has been nothing but a dominant performance for the Power Slide Private Label Team Hype campaigner as he goes through turns 2 and 3 here at Indianapolis around turn 4 for what is the final lap at Indianapolis. There is no battle for second. Rashad Craig has dropped to a second, over a second adrift of Logan Edwards, and so they're barring anything wild, they're going to finish as they were. Robin Glakis has not yet made the charge on Alberto Lobo, and so that remains all square, 10th and 11th. And if you look at it from the blimp, as we get back on the pit lane, we're going to jump in the flag stand. Here comes Phil. He's going to round up another checkered flag. You can't even tell it's raining in the. You can't even tell it's raining in the blimp, Jacob.
I'm wondering if that blimp's so high up it can't see the clouds.
It's possible. For the record, Phil Kraus was alongside Thomas Van Kirk, but Van Kirk maintained his position on the lead lap, and so he gets rewarded by having to make an extra lap. Kraus is your winner, and this is how far Logan Edwards and Rashad Craig are behind. They are just now coming off a turn. They're just now coming out of turn 14. And across the line for Logan Edwards, across the line Rashad Craig. And now we get to wait on Caleb Brashear, Seb Alexander. There's Brashear. Here comes Seb, and we will show all of the finishers, as is the custom. We might have to wait a minute for Ty Keela, though. Where's Ty? Is he lost, Jacob? Did he make a wrong turn and go to IRP here? There he is.
No, he's still putting around out there.
I like it. You'll have to
down the front stretch now.
You'll have to accuse him of putting around at the next road racing meeting there, and
he might want to go to the golf course, Mark.
You know, that's very true. Be that as it may, that is the race, Jacob.
It got wet.
It did get wet. But the wetter it got, Jacob, the more things stayed the same. Your winner, Phil Kraus. Logan Edwards second, defending series champion Rashad Craig. He'll bring it home in third. Caleb Brashear, Seb Alexander, they'll round out your top 5. How about Ty Keela? He putts around, Jacob, but he makes it home in 6th. Thomas Van Kirk is 7th, Facundo Machen 8th, J.W. Miller 9th. Alberto Lobo is going to round out your top 10 in 11th. Robin Glakis, he didn't make it back by Alberto Lobo, so he'll settle for 11th. Gail Rohrberg is 12th. Tyler Langenberg, worth the price of admission early. He'll finish a lapped 13th. Jason Urban 14th. Glenn Cate, Will Weiser, Noddy Immel, and Eric Finson round out your finishers. And with that, Jacob, do we have any drivers in the interview room?
I see a Logan Edwards.
Let's bring up Logan Edwards. Logan, you've got Murph. You've got Jacob Collins in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I do.
You do indeed. So a run to second. You had a spirited battle with Rashad Craig to get there. Tell us about your run and what it was. What you thought whenever you saw Rashad come out ahead of you, and then did you think it was going to be easy or more difficult to make that pass than it was?
I thought it'd be difficult. I thought that Rashad saved enough to go that extra lap, and I definitely thought that he had something more up his sleeve. It was a very fun battle with him, and ultimately the warmer tires prevailed, and he really just couldn't get back to me. Dirty air is rough in all the important parts of this track, so pretty fortunate to have rationed my push to pass enough to pull away from him when it mattered.
Indeed, you did pull away when it mattered. Jacob, what do you have for second place finisher Logan Edwards here this evening?
Yeah, we saw Rashad kind of pull the overcut and get out ahead initially when he came back out on those alternate tires. Was there any question in your head if you thought you could make it back by him, given that he was already out ahead of you, or did you just kind of know with the way the tires kind of take a while to heat up that you had your golden opportunity if you could get close enough to him early on in that stint?
I knew I had time. I mean, I had passed him on the prime stint, so I knew that I was capable of being in the same ballpark as him, and the track was pretty cool all day, so I knew that it took a lap for the tires to be even remotely drivable at that point.
Well, I tell you what, drivable or not, you drove it right up to the middle step of the podium. With that, you know the drill, Logan. You get on the podium, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs, the floor is yours, and never mind the fact that I just got iced tea the wrong way.
Well, Luke Mansky Racing Esports, Will Weiser, Caleb Brashear. I wish Will was up here racing with us, but he went flying. So
he had a wild ride for sure.
Yeah, Caleb P4, me P2. That's a fantastic result for the team, no matter how you put it.
Most certainly is. With that, we thank you for stopping in, Logan. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
All right.
That is Logan Edwards. He is the second place finisher. We did these out of order, Rashad, and so we do want to welcome Rashad Craig to the P1 Broadcasting booth. Rashad, you got Murphy, you got Collins. Did you pulled the overcut? You successfully got out in front of Logan, but were the tires not warm enough to hold it?
Yeah, the reds coming out of the box are really understeering. And all the testing I did earlier wasn't that bad, but because the track was so cool, it was way worse than anything I've tested in. But after that, it was trying to just keep a decent gap. Hopefully, make some hope for him to make a mistake. He didn't, but brought the car home, which is all that matters.
You know, sometimes that is what matters. You were able to win a championship in the last season by bringing the car home, keeping it on the podium, keeping it out of trouble. And so this is just another one of your another one of your stellar drives. Jacob, what do you have for Rashad this evening?
Yeah, we saw you kind of head for the overcut on the tire strategy there, and it didn't ultimately end up panning out, just given how long it took for the alternates to kind of heat up there, and they lost out to maybe a second place finish. Did you feel like you wanted to pit any earlier than you did, or did you feel like your overcut was best for the way that your tires kind of wore out throughout the stint?
It was kind of best for, like, I had committed to fuel and tire save. And it worked to a point. I did pull out a little bit of gap. It's just, like I said, the track was so cool. It's hard to get temp in the tires. Harder than anything, like I said, I've tested before. So I think it can work. It's just like this certain set of conditions that didn't work out.
I'll tell you what, buddy. Anytime you're on the podium, it worked out good enough. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. Rashad, the floor is yours.
Like the team kind of got a new mini sponsor, Cozy Threads. Thank you for the support, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
You're more than welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for showing up. Keep going fast, having fun, Rashad, and we'll see you at the next one, all right?
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That is Rashad Craig. He finishes third tonight. And for the man of the hour, who blew everybody away, it is PK, Phil Kraus. You've got Murph. You've got Collins in the P1 Broadcasting booth. My only question for you, Phil, was at any point were you bored during this race?
There were times, yeah. but I was kind of hoping the rain was going to hit, and then it did hit, but it was one of those where it rains for like 4 laps and you don't feel anything in the car at all, and it's like, oh, okay, darn.
So when it's like that, did it change at all? I mean, were there any spots like, sometimes maybe the track will stay dry, but the curbs will get kind of slick, or under braking you can kind of lose a little bit of performance, but absolutely nothing but the change in animation on the screen, I take it?
Pretty much nothing except the change in animation on the screen. I mean, the last lap my tire temps finally started to drop a little bit, but the performance of the car was still almost identical. I mean, it didn't feel great on reds the whole time, but maybe that's why I didn't notice anything, but yeah.
There you go. Jacob, do you have anything for Phil this evening?
Yeah, I think we all would have liked to see that rain come in a little bit earlier. Did you feel like that might have changed your tire strategy? Maybe try to start on a tire where if it came in early enough, you'd get off of your initial slick tire? Or like if you maybe took the reds early, rain came about halfway through, does that become an option? Or do you feel like that running the blacks the first stint was pretty much the de facto option no matter how the race kind of plays out?
For me, this track, no matter the weather, is always a primary track. I've yet to run a race here in the last 5 years where the red tire has outperformed the primary over a full stint, but because I had, I think, 20 liters less fuel in the car for the red stint, and it was still slower after about lap 6 of the run, so it would have had to been like rain at the start, and you have to start dries to run it out.
It'll be interesting to see what they come up with in terms of weather. I'm with you. I'd like to see some more variability with it. Be that as it may, Phil, you are the winner. We had Brophy in the chat with us. He pointed out that he beat you in the Indy Pro race here, and in doing so, he also was quick to point out that you finished under your own power. And so, with that, friends, family, sponsor shout out. The floor is yours.
Well, first off, I didn't even make it to the start-finish line at Indy in the pro race before with a car. So I'd hope he beat me. If he didn't, that'd be questionable. So, I mean, he would have had to wreck even earlier. But yeah, no, just everyone on Power Slide and Team Hype. And obviously, if you don't know and you're watching and you're looking to run the Indy Open Series this season, I am making the P1 dock setups for the road courses, and my teammate Robert Muchka is making them for the ovals. So if you're looking to get into the Open Series, but you don't really have like a jumping off point and you want to have something that's kind of plug and play, definitely take a look at P1 docks.
Absolutely. That's great advice, Phil. I had to throw Brophy right under the bus, didn't I? It's what friends are for, isn't it?
Oh, he does it to himself most of the time. Doesn't need help.
Thank you so much for stopping in, Phil. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. That is Phil Kraus. He is the winner tonight here at Indianapolis. And Jacob, sometimes the more things change, the weather changes, the track changes. What didn't change was the outcome. Phil Kraus is your winner here tonight at Indianapolis.
Well, that just goes to say that despite changing every single variable, the equation still solves identically, right?
It most certainly does, and I'll tell you what does stay the same is the exciting action that's available here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. Immediately following this, we're going to head to the Onyx Racing League Lotus 79 event at New Hampshire. That's ongoing. We'll toss it to Gary Godso in just a few moments. For the nightcap, it's going to be Jacob Collins, not Jason Collins. My goodness, wrong Collins, Jacob. It's going to be Jacob Collins with the Indy Next Series from Spa. Tomorrow night, we're going to have the Indy Open Top Split from Texas, and then immediately followed by the Indy Next Top Split Oval from Texas. Wednesday night, you've got the Formula Indy Series here on P1. Thursday, we are home to the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. Friday, it's the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Both those races happen at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Pre-race, 8:35 start. We do want to thank all of our loyal audience. If you haven't done so, make sure you smack the like smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, be notified of all future P1 broadcasting events just like this one. We also want to thank the people that really make it possible: the police, the fire, the military, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and the nurse that unloads you when you get to the hospital. Jacob, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. Next up, Lotus 79s from New Hampshire.